Hi guys, my name is Shruti and welcome to Fandom Newbie. Now, over the last few days, because of everything that has been going on in the US, I feel that a lot of people have been talking about racism. And while it's great that people all over the world have been talking about it and have been calling out like the injustices and racism against the black community in the US, and some people have also been talking about racism that Indians have felt abroad, and I think all of that conversation is great. But I also think that right now it's probably a really good time to discuss about the prejudices and the discrimination that happens in our own country in India. And I think that the best way to combat these prejudices and biases that exist in society is through educating ourselves by reading books. So today I'm going to be talking about 3 books that I plan to read myself to educate myself further about things that exist in our society, and I thought that maybe you guys can also benefit from it. So yeah, let's just get started. The first book that I plan to read is Insider Outsider, Belonging and Unbelonging in Northeast India. So this book is basically a collection of short stories and poems of people belonging to the northeastern part of India. I feel the northeastern part of India is an entire region that is very, very misunderstood. It's a part of India that has multiple ethnicities, multiple languages, religions, cultures, and also in terms of facial features, they tend to look different. And I feel because of all of this, they are extremely misunderstood, and there are so many biases that exist against their societies, their culture, everything. And the root of all this is probably because we just don't understand each other, which is why I'm really looking forward to reading this book, because firstly, it's got really highly rated reviews, and secondly, because these are stories that are written by everyday people who live in that region. I feel it's the perfect way for us to understand their culture and also understand their struggles and get to know them a little better. The second book that I'm reading is Train to Pakistan by Khushwant Singh. Now, when it comes to prejudices that exist between communities in our society, I feel that no one can deny that there are a lot that exist between the Hindu and Muslim community in India. And maybe to understand why this prejudice exists between these two communities, it might take me a lot more research. But I feel that a good place to start in understanding the discontent is by reading about an event that significantly affected both these communities, and that is the partition of India. So Khushwant Singh's book, Train to Pakistan, is a historical fiction book that talks about partition. And it's about this village that is near the border where before partition, Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs lived in absolute harmony. But because of this one incident, how everything in this village turns to violence and how these communities turn against each other. And I know that this is a historical fiction book, but from what I've read through reviews about Train to Pakistan from multiple people, it seems as if Khushwant Singh has captured the emotions, societal structure, political environment of that era in a very, very accurate manner in this book. And also he's depicted the incidents of partition in an extremely accurate and harrowing manner. So I feel that to understand partition better, it might be nice to read this book because it captures the emotions really well. Like, it's not just about the historical things that happen, it's about understanding what people felt, it's about understanding what people went through. Because of that, I feel that this book might be quite enlightening, and yeah, I hope to learn a lot more. And the last book that I want to read is Coming Out as Dalit by Yashica Dutt. So Yashica is actually a good friend of my husband's, and while I do know her story, I am actually quite ashamed that I haven't read her book. This book is basically a memoir where Yashica talks about her struggles with her identity as a Dalit. And through this book, not only do we get Yashica's story, we also get insight into the Dalit movement in India. And of course, it casts a light upon issues like caste and privilege that exist in our country. Discrimination that exists because of the caste system in India, I feel, is something that is very important to educate ourselves about, because while we may live in a bubble in thinking that this discrimination doesn't exist, I feel that that is wrong, because I'm sure that there are places all over our country where it does, and it's important for us to understand their struggles and to understand what they go through. So yeah, maybe reading this book will help me do that, and I hope to learn a lot more through it. So yeah, these are the 3 books that I plan to read. If you guys have any other recommendations of books that I should be reading to educate myself on the matter further, then please leave them down in the comments, because I feel that educating ourselves is really, really important. Racism, prejudices, injustices, discrimination, they exist in all societies, everywhere in the world. But I feel that the best way to fight against it is by, one, educating ourselves on the matter, two, calling people out who may say problematic things, even if it's your close friends and family. Call them out when they say problematic things against other communities, against other races. And three, by constantly checking the discriminatory thoughts that come in our own mind, because sometimes they involuntarily do. So just keep checking those discriminatory thoughts that come in your mind. And yeah, just be kind to one another and try every single day to become a better human being.